Hey, got another question for you here today on Capra Convos. We're looking at Isaiah 53. We just looked at Isaiah 52. And the question I want to ask you today is what Jesus went through in the scourgings, the beatings, is what he went through, was that done so we don't have to have it? Well, let's look at that question today. Denise?
Well, I'm looking at this passage, and I've got some of this passage in Isaiah out of the Amplified. What I like about yesterday, we referred to Jesus being, or God being misrepresented.
Yes, so much.
And it's prophetic passage from the prophet Isaiah. And again, I said yesterday, this was written 700 years or so before Christ, which is amazing. And this is such a famous passage, Isaiah 53.
Bring it.
Because it so clearly depicts Jesus that I have some relatives that are Jewish that even said rabbis don't like it for you to read Isaiah 53 because it so clearly ties to Jesus. So this is this messianic passage, and it prophesies about Jesus saying, "For the servant of God grew up before him," God, "as a tender plant, and like a root out of dry ground, he has no form or comeliness, royal, kingly pomp, that we should look at him.
Come on.
And no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected and forsaken by men, a man of sorrows and pains, and acquainted with grief and sickness. And like one from whom men hide their face, he was despised. And we didn't appreciate his worth or have any esteem for him. Surely he has borne our griefs, sicknesses, weaknesses, and distresses, and carried our sorrows and pains of punishment. Yet we ignorantly consider him stricken, smitten, and afflicted by God, as with leprosy. But he was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our guilt and iniquities, and the chastisement needful to obtain peace and well-being for us was upon him. And with the stripes that wounded him, we are healed and made whole."
Gosh, what a full representation of the Old Testament Christ, the description of him. And there was over 300 prophecies of Christ coming, and that course being brought into Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. We're getting ready for Easter coming up here. So we're looking at this clearly. But what happened to Jesus, this prophetic view we're seeing now, happened to him. What they were saying thousands of years ago has happened to him. He was chastised for our peace. And I just want to look at that for a minute. So you and I could experience peace with God again, full, complete peace. Jesus was chastised. He was bruised. He was beaten. God's judgment came upon him. And so that covenant of peace that we're going to get into here in the next show, that covenant of peace could be extended to you and I for the rest of our lives.
And so we challenge you today, let God give you it wherever you're at in your life. So much stress and strife that goes on around us. Let's have a new value for peace.
Come on.
Because when there's a peaceful atmosphere, everybody can own their own stuff. It can be a safe place. We can take responsibility for our actions. But when we look at what Jesus did on our behalf, being smitten and rejected by men, all the pain that we go through, and he's been through it all. He totally identifies right where we're at.
Come on.
So we can be comforted. We can be made completely whole, physically and emotionally.
You know, it says, by his stripes we were healed. And I just want to finish with you as we pray. There's people out there that aren't experiencing peace. There are people out there who are sick. But by the stripes he took, you were healed. So I just pray that right now, that if you have a physical illness, just lay your hand on it right now. We just speak life. We speak health. We speak wholeness from the wounds that Jesus took so you can walk in divine health. Well, hey, bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in to capramen.com, our website. Be a part of what we're doing around the world. Thank you.